Poultry farming is one of the oldest and most talked about business in agriculture. But behind the feathers and feed, what's the real deal? In this professional business review, we are diving deep into the poultry farm business. We will uncover startup costs, potential profits, hidden pitfalls, and the real operational challenges, all from a neutral, balanced perspective. If you're thinking about starting this business, this might be the most important video you watch, and therefore I will advise that you watch until the end. I'm Jude Anyanwu, and you are on the right channel. I would first of all like to give you an overview of poultry business. Poultry farming is the raising of birds like chickens, ducks, turkeys, geese for commercial purposes. The market scope includes global demand for protein-rich food, Africa and Asia showing significant growth and fast turnover business due to short maturity cycle. Here are the types of poultry ventures. We have broiler farming, layer farming, hatchery operations, breeder farm, quail, duck, and turkey production. I'll walk you through the different stages of this business for the purpose of clarity and informed decisions. So let's call this overview I just gave the first stage. The second stage is the entry stages, which you can also call small scale startup. At this stage, you have to make informed decisions about your initial decisions. It could be what breed to start with, like broiler or layers, intensive versus free range system, deep litter versus battery cage housing. Another is basic requirement like housing, and it possibly requires ventilation, biosecurity, and lighting. Then talk of feeds and water systems, day-old chick sourcing, vaccination, and disease management plan. Another important decision you must be intentional about is the startup capital estimate for small scale. You should be thinking of spending around $800 to $1,200, while $80 to $140 or $150 for 100 chicks. You also have to budget $200 to $300 for feeds for the first 6 weeks, and around $150 for equipment like feeders and drinkers. What about miscellaneous? You have to budget for it to at least $250, and this would make you budget around a total of $1,500 to $2,000 approximately. One thing you must know is that it's not about how many birds you have, it's about how many survive, grow fast, and convert feed to cash. The third stage is the mid-level operations, which is growing the business. At this stage, there are 4 things you must know and consider. 1. Operational consideration. It includes hiring farmlands, record keeping like mortality, feed consumption, and weight gain. Furthermore is power supply and water management, waste control and other management, vest partnership or consultants. 2. Hidden costs. Just like every other business, there's always hidden costs. The ones associated with this business are disease outbreak and emergency meds, market transportation, biosecurity upgrades, unplanned mortality loss, and feed price fluctuations. 3. Profit margin realities. Let's take broilers for example. You can sell in 6 to 8 weeks and make potential revenue of $500 to $700 from 100 beds. Your net profit after expenses could value from $100 to $200 if no major losses. Think of feed conversion rate, mortality rate metrics, and break-even points. The fourth stage is the advanced scale, which is also full commercial setup. At this point in the business, you will start thinking of expansion model, of which it involves mostly things like multiple pens or battery cages, 1,000 to 10,000 beds, automated feeding/watering systems, in-house feed production, branding, and packaging of eggs or dressed chickens. You will also start thinking of advanced costs such as land acquisition or lease, staff salaries, commercial vet service, power backups such as solar/inverter, and lastly, distribution logistics. Don't forget that there's also regulatory compliance, like in Nigeria, there's NAFDAC/SON certifications, zoning and environmental regulations, waste treatment systems. And the next thing you'll never stop thinking is profit potential. Let's say you did 5,000 broilers per cycle, which could generate you gross revenue of about $25,000 to $35,000. Expenses could be around $20,000 to $28,000, and net profit margin could vary around 10 to 20% depending on efficiency. In poultry farming, volume is power, but if only your systems are bulletproof. The fifth stage is the supply chain and market dynamics. This is the stage where you would be thinking, who buys your birds or eggs? Is it local markets, bulk buyers, hotels, restaurants, schools, or direct to consumer? You should also understand about seasonal demand. Just like festive period drive massive broiler demand, while layers peak in holiday baking season. That's not just all for this stage, because here comes market risks. You must not forget about market glut, disease bans and movement restrictions, or even competitor underpricing. Here is where this video gets more interesting and you need to pay close attention. The fifth stage I have for you is common pitfalls and challenges. To hire staff for a low paycheck seems to be a way to minimize costs by most poultry business owners, but they forgot that untrained staff could lead to poor bed management, poor biosecurity, and an open invitation to diseases. Dependence on a single buyer brings about risky pricing. Underfeeding or low quality feed leads to stunted growth, and no record keeping makes it difficult to track profit or loss. This business is scalable but sensitive, low margin, high risk model without systems, not a set it and forget it venture. Poultry farming is scalable, high demand, but also operationally intensive. Margins can be rewarding with efficiency, but disastrous without proper planning. If you're considering poultry farming, this video has given you full lens from startup realities, profit windows, and critical challenges. But remember, this is a professional review, not a verdict. In our next video, we will break down whether poultry farming is actually worth it in 2025 and beyond. If it's a good and investable business or not, I will clarify you with valuable reasons still in my next video. Subscribe for the next episode where we answer, is poultry farming worth doing today? Have you tried poultry farming? What challenges did you face? Say your thoughts or your experiences in the comments. See you in the next one.